Welcome to Comfort Habit number 2. My name is James Williams Jr. The following video is very important. It's more than likely not for children, but very, very, very important. So in a video I did earlier about a man who's going around and purposely giving women HIV. Alright, in that video I explained about HIV and herpes. So this video is me doing a deep dive into HIV and herpes and the law. So, HIV currently, and until probably the year of Commander Shepard, will more than likely never have a cure. Same thing with herpes. It will more than likely, in my lifetime, never have a cure. There is treatment, but treatment does not nullify either one of those diseases. It's not like you can have, what the fuck is it? Trichomoniasis. I'm not a sexual transmitted disease expert, but the clap, trichomoniasis, crabs, the drip. There's a lot of other stuff. And for men, it's easier to tell when you have a sexually transmitted disease versus women, since their sex organs inside, and they suffer differently from different symptoms, where men, on the other hand, if you got the drip, you're going to know it. If you got the clap, you're going to know it. If you have lice, you're going to know it. The cure for lice is a special bath and special shampoo, and probably recommended you shave all the hair off your nether regions for a couple of months before doing and after the special shower. No. But as far as HIV and herpes go, let's deep dive into herpes. Herpes is the one true sexually transmitted disease that no one really knows how it starts, but they know that there's no cure. Their herpes has breakouts. Herpes isn't with the person who has herpes 24 hours a day on the outside, but they have flare-ups and they have breakouts, and when they have those, let's just say it's not a pretty sight. If you want to see stuff like that, you can probably go Google that shit. Now also, herpes are also on your mouth. They're called fever blisters. Now, we don't know if what works on the fever blisters would work on the herpes in the nether regions. But the problem is no one's ever actually tried that, so we don't really know. So we're going to continue to say that, for now, herpes does not really have an effective cure. It may have treatment. They may be able to give somebody an oral stimulant or something to fix their breakouts. But 9 times out of 10, if you have herpes, it's a life sentence. No, they're with your ass until the end. You can go watch the David Chappelle singing puppets to get all that shit out. Now, HIV, on the other hand, we're going to do a deep dive into that real quick. There, at one time, was 5 ways to catch a transmitted disease, and then it was 3, and then it went to 5 again, and back to 3. So, let's just say that there is an unamount or unnamed amount of ways that you can catch HIV. Alright? Pure and simple. The ways that I know are hospital blood transfusion, which now they screen the blood, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So you can put that on that, because in most cases they have blood, and depending on what your blood type is, they highly recommended you give your blood just in case. But they do screen your blood now for like HIV. They've been screening your blood because of the Ryan White incident. So now it's required by all hospitals in all 50 states, as far as I know. Now, I could be wrong. I'll still have to do some fact checking on that. But they screen all blood for AIDS now. All of it. In fact, they probably screen blood for everything under the sun now, because the hospital basically cost this young man his life, and he was not gay. So blood transfusions, homosexual sex that is unprotected is where it supposedly started. There's a lot of origins behind how AIDS got started. But anyway, blood transfusion, homosexual or bisexual sex, unprotected drug use. In other words, people who would share needles and not clean the needles. And even if you clean the needles, there's no guarantee that you get that out of there. So there's no, if you're in the needles, yeah, you might want to be careful there. But and then unprotected sex in general. But the main ways were unprotected sex. So let's give a little bit of a history of what I was told how AIDS got started. Now, there's been like 2 or 3 different stories of how AIDS got started. It's going as far as a government conspiracy disease for population control, and it was used as a way to wipe out gay people. I do not have facts on that. I do not know if that's true. It's just one of them things that flew through the rumor mill. The other ways were uh, unprotected drug use from a straight person with a gay person, and next thing you know, the straight person that has AIDS because he's not cheating on his wife, he's just shooting the fuck out of heroin, crack, and all that other shit with needles with guys who have AIDS. So that's how it got into the straight community. Again, this is a rumor mill. And then the other one was another rumor mill of a bisexual man sleeping with a guy with AIDS and then sleeping with a woman and then transferring it through both the gay and straight community. So again, rumor mill. And then the other one, the most outlandish rumor that ever was. That's me flipping this over. The most outlandish rumor that ever was that some big black dude went down in Africa and fucked an ape. Then came back to America and fucked a white woman and a white man and started giving AIDS to everybody. Now, I don't know why one big black dude would go down to Africa, fuck an ape, come back and fuck a white woman and a white man, and give everybody AIDS. So I don't know how that happened, but those are the rumors and the conspiracies. But what we do know for sure that you can get it through unprotected sex, whether you're gay or straight, or bisexual. And that's probably how it got into the other communities because, somebody had AIDS. It initially, I will be as honest and candid as possible, it initially started in the gay community. Not the lesbian community, but the gay male community. Now, again, you can't believe everything you hear. All right? So that's what I was told as a kid, gay men started that shit, but it's kind of messed up because in prison with prison rapes, none of the prisoners that were raped by other men had AIDS. So it's kind of hard to, or got AIDS. I mean, you honestly probably have to have AIDS to give it to someone else. But supposedly it started in the gay community. Alright, and again, in a video that I made earlier, I did touch on that with the late great Freddie Mercury and how he had passed from AIDS. And back when that all happened in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the AIDS boom happened in the late 80s, early 90s. Because apparently Freddie Mercury died in 92 and not in 84. But, in the midst of everything, the 80s was the year that AIDS blew up and everybody started taking note. And in that, most of the time people were afraid to go places now. And then with the Ryan White thing, people were afraid to go to hospitals. You need a blood transfusion. What if I get it from the hospital? Like Ryan White got it from the hospital. And then, it was gay sex, bisexual sex, drugs. People were afraid to kiss people. People were afraid that if you kiss someone with AIDS, you'd get it from a kiss. They since tried to say that you can't get it through saliva transfusion. I, on the other hand, am one of those people who I'm not going to take that fucking chance. We do closed mouth kissing. Period. Lip to lip, we're good. No tongue. And, it's the be all of all things because you don't have HIV radar. You can't look at a person and say, hey, this fucker's got HIV. Let me avoid him. You can't do that. And same thing with the chick. This chick has HIV. Let me avoid her. You can't look at anyone face to face and say, you get HIV. HIV becomes AIDS, by the way. So you can't just look at them and go, oh, you got acquired immune deficiency syndrome. You fail to see that there's no real difference there. There's just have different names for what will one disease transfer into the other disease because effective Magic Johnson has been the longest living HIV recipient. I don't believe he has it. But anyway, he's become the spokesperson for HIV. And, in my personal opinion, I think it's bullshit. But, hey, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not living with the man, so I don't freaking know. But for the most part, he has HIV, but they're not saying if you have AIDS. Now, I'm not sure if there's a difference anymore, but for the most part, HIV is supposedly what led to AIDS, because with the whole Ryan White thing, he got AIDS. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS, where HIV, I have no idea what the fuck that means. I just know HIV leads to AIDS. I'm gonna have to do more research on that. But the thing was, if you have HIV, you will eventually have AIDS. At least that's how it was in the 90s. I don't know what the fuck the deal is now. But in the video, I touched on the guy purposely going around giving women AIDS. And this happens more times than you think. So you need to be careful who you sleep with. But the thing was, in the early 2000s, in the late 90s, yeah, women who were affected would go around and purposely affect men because they got affected by a man. And men who got infected by women would purposely go around affecting women. So this became a epidemic or a pandemic or both. And America, we're probably the only country that took the most immediate action. That if you have AIDS and you are purposely spreading it, we're locking your ass up because you're contaminating every fucking body. You're contaminating people who did nothing to you. It's not their fault that you fucked up and decided, heat of the moment, I'm not going to go down the street and get a condom. I'm just going to jam it on in there. Or heat of the moment, I'm not going to go down the street and get a condom. I'm just going to ride that pole until he pops. Next damn thing you know, you got AIDS. And everybody also knows that condoms are not 1,000% effective. All right, they will protect you from most sexually transmitted diseases. More importantly, they will also protect you from unwanted pregnancies unless the goddamn condom pops. And 9 times out of 10, you must have been working real well with that for that damn thing to pop. Or she was really tight. Or he was really big. It just depends on which side of the spectrum you're on. If you're a female, maybe he was really big and you were riding it too well and you popped his popper. And there you go. And if you're on the guy side of that, maybe she was really tight and she squeezed too hard and the air compression got sucked up in there and she popped your popper. That's about as adult as I can put that without getting graphicer or more graphic-y. The thing is, though, with HIV and AIDS, if you're going around purposely spreading it, shame on you. You're a fucking murderer because you're killing people who did nothing. And HIV and AIDS is a life sentence. So in America, if you're going around spreading AIDS and the right authorities get a hold of your ass, you're done. You're straight done. And you deserve to be done because you shouldn't be doing that shit. So let me get to the bulk of this thing so I can end this video. If you suspect that you have HIV or AIDS, the health departments give HIV tests for free. So every 6 months, you should probably, especially if you're super sexually active, if you're like having sex like it ain't no tomorrow, if you're like having sex like the Niagara Falls waterfalls, if you're having sex like every day, all day, and you're not a porn star, you should probably go get checked every 3 to 6 months. Now, you really should, just for your safety and your safe peace of mind. I'm not having sex like that at all. Hell, I'm not even having sex, so, not that anybody needs my business, but there it is. If you are having mad sex and you're not in a monogamous relationship, or if you're swingers, there's a standard of recommendation, and you should probably go get tested, especially if you're having unprotected sex. If you're having unprotected sex, your ass needs to go get checked out every 3 months. Every 3 months. Because, every 90 days, anything can change in your body, and 9 times out of 10, when you have a sexually transmitted disease, you don't feel it until you see it. Which goes back to herpes. Herpes and HIV are the only sexually transmitted diseases that have possible treatments but no cure. Clap, gonorrhea, trichomoniasis, a couple of other things that I don't remember the names of. They have treatment that will make the disease dormant, or it will eventually, I wouldn't say cure it, but make it go away. And it's gone away forever until you do something stupid and get it back. Which again is why, it's treatment. And it's like the common cold. And that being said, because there's no cure for the common cold, everybody gets a cold, and it happens. No, so that'll be that. And please forgive me for the "don't come by in here starting no shit" comment in the background. So I'm gonna end the video before something else goes wrong. I'm James Williams. Use code for number 2. Be seeing you. Like and subscribe, or at least share. And if anything, you need to damn sure share this video.